guys, it's Bree here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those who are new, don't forget to like and subscribe my video. So today we're going to talk about identity. Who are you? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when I ask you who you are? Do you know that your identity will be tied to whoever you give it to? What is it that allows you, what is it that defines you? Do you know that our God is actually a forgiving Father? We were created to know Him, but we reject Him when we sin. We just live as we please. Have you ever asked yourself, who is Brenda? If you ever asked yourself that God created us in His own image, we actually portray who we are through our actions, but we reject God when we sin. In Ephesians, the first 2 chapters of Ephesians, it talks about how God, He is a merciful God, how God is just a loving God. His love is endless. So, the first chapter of Ephesians, it talks about that our God is actually a forgiving Father. He redeemed us. He actually cares for us, but we actually reject Him when we sin. But many people are afraid of living behind the fun things of what we used to do, or many back to God. He will welcome you wholeheartedly, and you will notice that if you put God first in whatever you do, you also put you as His first priority in your life. You don't have to worry about anything, because in Matthew it says that do not worry, because like even the birds do not worry about what they are going to eat. God knows what He has planned for you. In Jeremiah 29 verse 11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to give you harm." It means that God actually knows what He's going to give you. You don't have to doubt Him. You just have to trust Him. No matter how bad the situation is, you just have to trust God. Put faith in God, and you'll notice that everything will actually change in your life. Why is it everything is just not working? Trust God. Even when it doesn't make sense, just trust God. But this is you know what, but if you just give up, you'll be actually pleasing Satan. And those are not told that life. But when you just declare, no, you know what, everything is just going to go through. Everything is just going to be well. If you just trust God, but if you just put your identity in God, if you put God first in your life, identity to God. So when someone asks me right now who I am, I know the answer. I tell them that I am a follower of Christ, that I am a child of God, because I have accepted that, okay, let me just leave what happened behind my past, and let me just open my new chapter with God, because I actually gave my identity to God. I actually put Him as my first priority in life, because our God is actually a jealous God. He wants us to put Him first in whatever we do, but we are just portrayed, rejecter when we sin. Talk about what let me just do as I please. Let me just do that. I used to suffer. I used to struggle with it. Where am I? But I came to a point when I just like, you know what? Let me just try this new life with God, and trust me, it's actually working. Everything is actually flawless. So it's just a short message where I just wanted to remind you that it doesn't matter if you did something bad in your past. Our God is actually a forgiving Father. If you just give yourself back to God, He will welcome you wholeheartedly, and you will notice that if you put God first in whatever you do, you also put you as His first priority in your life. You don't have to worry about anything, because I'm actually afraid. I have sinned. I did this, I did that. But when you actually give yourself to God, God doesn't even consider about what happened to your past. You actually start a new chapter in your life, and that chapter, if you just put God as your first priority, if you walk with God, everything that you do, trust me, everything will be just fruitful when you actually put God as your first priority in life. So at some point, I used to struggle with Ndimbori Ani. I used to get all those mixed messages around myself just because of the things that used to surround me. Who am I? But when I actually learned more about God, I gave my identity to God. So when someone asks me right now who I am, I know the answer. I tell them that I am a follower of Christ, that I am a child of God, because I have accepted that, okay, let me just leave what happened behind my past and let me just open my new chapter with God, because I actually gave my identity to God. I actually put him as my first priority in life, because our God is actually a jealous God. He wants us to put him first in whatever we do, but we are just portrayed to trust him. No matter how bad the situation is, you just have to trust God. Put faith in God, and you'll notice that everything will actually change in your life. Why is it everything is just not working? Trust God. Even when it doesn't make sense, just trust God. But this is strong. You know what? But if you just give up, you'll be actually pleasing Satan. And those are not told that family life. But when you just declare, no, you know what, everything is just going to go through. Everything is just going to be well. If you just trust God, but if you just put your identity in God, if you put God first in your life, you will notice that everything will just flow. Everything will be just flawless. And the other thing is that, if you ever asked yourself, right now, if you ever ask yourself, where are you going to go? Are you going to go to heaven? Are you going to go to hell? As myself, I actually don't know, but I have faith that I'll go to heaven. I actually have faith, because I have learned something, that if you just put God as first, first my life, Marco, everything will be just flawless. So I just wanted to remind you that if you put your identity in God, she says you know it. So please don't forget to like and subscribe my video. Thank you for your time.